For joining us today on this webinar, which is presented by the Ad Club of Madras in association with the Exchange for Media Group. Probably one of the last few webinars that are left in this year. And I think I was just talking to all of you that we've got so used to doing these and finally coming to some days away from the new year. Yeah, am I audible to everyone? I just want to just introduce the topic for today. We'll be discussing the main topic that we have is that 2021, or the next year that is few days away, resetting advertiser and advertising expectations, where all these experts from both the brand and the agency side will talk about what has changed in the last 10 months as far as the dynamic between brands and agencies is concerned. I just want to put in a small context to this conversation that we have seen the rise of digital in a very big way. TV advertising is getting redefined majorly. Digital first is the way to go. Creative agencies, media agencies, a lot of in-housing is happening with brands. So a lot of factors at play that we are going to discuss. And I want to introduce my speakers today who are delving into this topic. I have Ms. Samyukta Ganesh Iyer, Head Marketing, Baskin Robbins. Mr. Vishwajit Parashar, CMO, Bajaj Capital, Mr. BK Shankar Narayanan, CEO, Viveks, Ms. Meera Iyer, Business Head, Dr. Vedyas, Mr. Sumanto Chattopadhyay, Chairman and Chief Creative Officer, 82.5 Communications, Ogilvy, and Mr. Rajesh Ramaswamy, co-founder, the Script Room. Before we proceed, I just want to introduce and thank the Ad Club of Madras for partnering this webinar. I want to welcome Mr. Bala Subramanian S, Treasurer, Ad Club Madras, and National Head Digital, Dina Malar, to share his initial words with us. Mr. Bala, if you can hear me.
He's on mute.
It's on mute, sir. If you can unmute it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just, yeah. Okay, great.
Okay. Am I audible? Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So good evening, everybody. It was my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the President and the Executive Committee of the Advertising Club of Madras to this roundtable. With just a little more than a week left in the year that became defined by COVID-19, a lot has been discussed and realized on how life has changed for all of us across the globe and how it has impacted the way we work, study, socialize, shop, and we consume entertainment. As we continue to grapple with these changes, it is imperative for advertisers, marketers, agencies to understand the macro perspective and get some direction on facing the challenges ahead of us, especially in 2021. In fact, as we talk, there is already a warning of a new strain of virus slowly spreading. Looks like the rulebook need to be updated dynamically based on current situation and the position. I would like to sincerely thank Exchange for Media team for partnering with us and bringing together such an excellent minds who are practicing this and waiting to share their perspective. I would also like to thank all of you who were logged in from various places, and I'm sure we are going to have an engrossing session for the next 60 minutes or so. Thank you once again. With that,
thank you.
Without much delay, I hand over to you, Rahul.
Thank you so much, Bala, for these wonderful words. And I want to start the discussion, and I want to come to you, Ms. Iyer, with the very Meera Iyer. I want to start with with you first. Tell me, how has these 10 months changed the perspective for marketeers as far as ad spends are concerned?
Last 10 months have been, I would split it into actually three parts.
The first part was when the entire lockdown hit. Then the entire slow opening that we saw, and then lastly the last 2 to 3 months, which have been led with a lot of festivals and festivities around us, and therefore a lot of campaigning around them,
Right,
including consumption of IPL, by the by. That was also a
right,
landmark at this point in time. From a
right,
perspective as well as from a business perspective, the lockdown period was simply a time to conserve cash. It was a time to take stock of what you could do, what you couldn't do, what you could manage in terms of your business, in terms of supply chain and manufacturing and other bits, which really address more the supply side. Rather than looking at spending marketing dollars without having the wherewithal to actually service any of those demand that came your way. The second period, which was really about slow opening and moving on to the path of recovery, was again split into two kind of zones of companies that immediately saw a huge opportunity to scale up because of the pandemic looming and continuing, which nobody predicted at that point in time, and those companies that pretty much had to stay shut because of the pandemic. So hospitality, travel, etc., even in the second phase of it, couldn't quite do anything. There was no point in marketing. Whereas e-commerce, and especially e-commerce retail, healthcare, sectors like Ayurveda, etc., saw a huge boom in terms of demand coming their way, and look to start advertising to just boost up the demand and make more demand come their way rather than go to competition. And of course, the last 2 3 months have all been about the great festivals, campaigns, etc., and wanting to get customers to get out and actually spend money and get the entire economy reviving. Um, this has also been a period where IPL happened and went, and we saw some record viewerships of all kinds basically being breached. So yeah, it's been three phases, and the third phase has obviously seen a huge spurt in marketing spends and ad spends across industry.
right. Mr. Parashar, if I have to ask you that we talk about these phases, what is your reading? Which phase are we in? Have we reached to a stage wherein we look at 2021 with a new hope from a marketing spend point?
Yeah, definitely. I think Ruhail, last year was, of course, everybody knows, was quite, I would say negative in that phase in terms of business, in terms of sentiments, in terms of, brands. So for any perspective, but I think it has impacted different brands differently. So some brands have really gained, taken advantage of the situation. Like when you see a liquid brand, you see a financial services also has gained to some extent. So I think the impact was different to different industries and sectors. Um, However, I think people have learned to live with COVID now, and brands have also learned. And from this, so we were in a digital transformation mode since 3 4 years back. But in just 3 months, we did everything. In such a high speed. It was on a very accelerated mode. So now we know how to service our clients, how to deal with them through our e-commerce engines, because in person visits are very less, and it will continue to do. I think by next year also, as you were mentioning, in 2021, people will have some fears, and there are uncertainties around when we listen to around news from London and all that stuff. So I think this trend will continue. E-commerce will continue to grow. Digital advertising will continue to grow. What we have seen, we have all seen that print, magazines, and television has gone down. So the marketing, the budgets have changed drastically. What we used to do traditionally has changed, and a lot of money is going towards in mobile advertising. Programmatic advertising is in nowadays. So a lot of connected TV will prevail now, because a lot of people are watching television through their internets, etc. So a lot of trends have changed. Our consumer expectations have changed. But I think 2021 looks positive. I would say from the marketing perspective, we are back to normalcy. And very soon, because of these, digitization innovations, we will see that marketing budgets will increase, and profitability should also be increasing. That's what my take.
Right. I want to take the brand perspective before I go to the agency side. I want to come to you, Ms. Samyukta Iyer. So we talk about this change and also the sentiment coming back, but from a marketeer standpoint, how much has this change been imbibed and gonna stay in a period that may not look like what it is right now? Will this change stay? Will that mindset kind of stay like that, or is it a reversible change that we're witnessing right now?
Yeah. So thanks, Ruhail. That's a very interesting question, and I think I do second what was just being said about the fact that the pandemic has made everyone conscious of every rupee suddenly. Like Mr. Parashar said, like it created opportunities for some, it posed challenges for some others. But the key word here is watchfulness. I think we've all learned to become extremely mindful and extremely watchful when it comes to ad spends. ROI I think, has been the most used word during the pandemic for all of us as marketers, as advertisers. And
Right.
I think, like Meera was also saying, everyone has gotten listed everywhere suddenly. There is this whole sense of e-com is something that even a 100-year-old company, a traditional company, has been forced to learn e-com, digitize themselves, and
Right.
digital agencies have learned to become a lot more effective in the way they are catering to the new age audiences. And
Right.
it's a little strange because with this new strain coming in, our market fell by 3%. So there is also one sense of uncertainty. So while there is a sense of positivity, there is also so much of uncertainty still happening because of all of this. And I think as marketers, I would say one big learning for all of us has been that you're spending the company's money. It's no longer your budget. So what happens is, and what I mean by that is that when a rupee spent does well for you, then it's good. If it doesn't, you're suddenly probably responsible for someone who could have probably stayed employed with that same money or the budget that you spent. So I think we've just become a lot more aware. ROI is impacting us in many, many different ways. I could almost say that ROI has become human today. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's going off anywhere, even in 2021.
Right. Mr. Shankar Narayan, in your view, if we look at the last few months, especially since the festive thing has come around, has it given us a new hope? And also, as we saw that we're talking about another wave of, some news is coming up. Is it a mixed sentiment right now with brands as far as spends are concerned, or is it clear that no, from here on, we're going to spend more?
I come from a retailing background, retailing in electronics. And what we've seen, luckily, we're on the greener side of the fence in terms of electronic retailing. We have work from home, we have study from home, we have entertainment at home, we have pastime at home. For everything, you actually coming down to one single thing, that's electronics, be it smartphones, tablets, computers, larger fridge, a larger washing machine, a dishwasher, which you've always been postponing for 10 years, a dishwasher which you've been kind of suspecting whether it will work for my cooking needs. So what we're grappling with is actually not so much so per se as demand. We're facing supply challenges. Supply challenges because of migrant labor, supply challenges because of imports, because of port clearances, because of labor not available. We started the year not on a very positive note. We started at something like about in the region of minus 20%, which quickly came to zero in about 3 months. And we saw a positive during the Dasara sales. Even the last 30 days sale on like-to-like basis, we are, let me say, positive. We've started seeing higher average selling price points moving. People are actually buying branded stuff because they know they need a better one. I see, at least in electronics, positive sense that has come in.
Good to hear that. And so crossing over now to the other side, where I have my two friends on that side. I mean, two gentlemen on the other side, of course. Mr. Chattopadhyay, starting with you, tell me, in this, we're living in a very conservative time as far as spending goes. Marketer, I can see Mr. Parashar smiling. Yes, they have become like that. They are, more focused on the dollar they spend. In this new environment, has the agency brand dynamic kind of gone on a different pedestal? What is it like right now?
Well, I mean, I think that uh, we heard the point of view from the other side, and it started with Meera Iyer saying that she divided the pandemic into three parts, and that's the way as a creative director I also experienced it, because the initial phase was that nothing was happening, and I remember that the first couple of months of it, what I did as a head and a creative head of an agency is that we created a playbook of how people didn't know what it was and what to do. So we created, I mean, I actually created something which I'm quite proud of, because it was very cleverly done, which was called the COVID-19 commandments. So I created 19 commandments for our teams to follow in terms of how to create communication. I mean, there were things, of course, like in terms of the sensitivity and empathy with which you now had to communicate. The other part was the tech skills that you had to kind of pick up overnight. We all had to become quasi content creators overnight. We had to learn to use technology. We had to learn to recycle material from old ads, to use stock, to find really clever ways to create communication. There's one example that I'll give you. So one of our clients in our Bangalore office is Himalaya. So thankfully we had certain categories which kept us alive, hygiene being one of them. So Himalaya launched Pure Hands, which is their hand hygiene range, which has hand wash as well as sanitizer, etc., etc. So, and what is really interesting is that we had come up with a communication platform for them months before we even knew this was going to happen. And that whole thing was about Namaste being the most hygienic, the purest, hashtag the purest greeting. And then suddenly, the pandemic hit. And not only that, various people came out with communication saying that, the Namaste is the way to go. So, we were asking, is it stale news now? But then we said, no, for Himalaya, which is all about ancient India and about Ayurveda, this is what this is the correct messaging for us. So we created a video which was an ode to the Namastes. What was interesting was that we, except for the branding at the end, we never talked about hand wash or hand sanitizer in that. And it, what the other thing was, we did a lot of COVID communication, which was, code for very tacky, cheap and cheerful looking stuff. But this is one communication where we worked with a director who got in touch with like over 30 cameramen all over India and even a few abroad, and got them to shoot, either, most of the time a family member just inside the house or just outside. So we got a really professional quality film that way. So these were the few highs of, the first phase of this whole thing. And then slowly we moved to a phase where we also created communication, because there was domestic violence that went up during lockdown. So that's a very sad aspect of it, and we created communication for that. But as you said, then towards the end, as the festivals and IPL approached, people started creating communication, and we never thought that we would be able to pull off ad films and videos at such low budgets. And this is where, we are converging with the so-called, we are a mainline agency, but in order to be able to, deliver to Mr. Roy, Mr. ROI, as Samita said, we have to be able to deliver things
From your state, yes, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Things, we have to deliver work which is at the speed of the so-called that the digital agencies provide, at the quantum and the unbelievably low rate. So we learned, so as Vishwajit said that, in 3 months, we've had like at least 3 years worth of learning, because all these trends started much before. But, this is where we've reached. So yes, today, I think the expectation is it's all of, I mean, the reason that everybody's moved to digital, apart from anything else, is that that's where accountability is. Accountability is the other alter ego of Mr. Roy. And we have to create communication which is for the performance-led mediums. And earlier on, it was about the reputation-led mediums. And we, as creative people, would say, the imagery has improved, and that all the so-called airy-fairy things, which, frankly speaking, today still, as a creative person, that's what I love to do. But today it is about return on investments. It's about how many conversions, how much did sales go up, and those are the things that we are catering to. Sorry, I think.
Great. You've given persona, great. But the Mr. Roys I know have all been very soft-spoken. So wonderful. Mr. Ramaswamy, what is your reading of this new axis between the brand and the agency? Where is it, headed? What is it like?
I think it's like Shumato was saying. I mean, this has been a very tricky year. Yeah, I mean, it's completely new. Nobody knows what to exactly do. I mean, anybody trying to claiming to be an expert or being on top of things is, I think, bullshitting. I mean, it cannot happen. So it's been a complete year of dilemmas, and I'll tell you the kind of dilemmas to what acute and what small level it is. So at one end, you have, the budgets being cut off, and on the other end, you're trying. I think in the second phase, people did open up for shoots and things like that. So I'm just talking about the number of tricky things that happen in this, the dilemmas that happen. One is, I'll tell you something as tiny as this. Okay, so there was a shoot we did for Bumble. Now, when it's a couple and she's trying to make a first move. Now, and they are feeding dogs and things like that. And in that, there's a little bit of interaction that happens, a flirting that happens. As simple as, should they be wearing masks or should they not be wearing masks? Okay, the minute they're wearing masks, now I do not know how much the shelf life of this. Suppose, say the vaccine is on and in another 2 months, everything's all hunky-dory. This commercial cannot be aired because it makes no sense. I mean, why are they wearing masks? Now, then it says, okay, should we do with mask and without mask kind of a shoot? Then the editing becomes another horror game. So even tiny things like this, and okay, now she's wearing a mask. No, I can't see her expressions, but the whole film is about love. How do I shoot? How do I not show your face? So tricky, simple things like this to exactly like, even when you're writing a script, do I make the protagonist wear a mask or not? Do I keep the COVID context in mind or not? If I'm keeping the COVID context in mind and it's changing every day, so it was a lockdown, now it's not a lockdown anymore. And a scenario of a lockdown, the environment and the insights are very different from it being lifted off. So from the time you're scripting to the day you're shooting, the insight may not seem relevant anymore. So every little thing starts kind of influencing you a lot. And then I don't even get me started on budgets, because that's another completely different game. Just to quickly put it like, well, on one end, budgets are getting slashed. But on the other hand, just in terms of production. So earlier, what was to be a one-day shoot, now you have to spend 1 day in just sanitizing, to the level of we actually ask for sanitization videos of the set being sanitized. It's not the story and everything. Leave that at another end. The production nightmare. So once the set is so even the crews, the art department goes, then they vacate, and then the prop department goes and they vacate. So you have to always keep a minimal crew. And just because you have to keep a minimal crew, and in some places there are lockdowns, in some places, there's curfew after 8 and things like that. So the number of days of shoot just go, instead of a single day shoot, becomes a 4-day shoot. But then on the other end, there's budgets has been slashed. And the shelf life of this ad is always under question mark. So it's so tricky and so, but on the what's happening, the good thing is, I think people have figured out newer ways and more efficient ways, more sure shot ways. So like, for example, we don't land up at the set and discover what to do. So there are a lot of Zoom calls that happen, rehearsals are happening through Zoom calls with the actors, so that they just come and on the word go, you start shooting. You don't then waste time in experimenting and then trying to brief him on what is the emotion, all that nonsense. So yeah, so a lot of other focused things are, people are getting more efficient. They're also, voluntarily asking, saying, can I get a brief of this earlier, so that we are more prepared and we spend lesser time on the set. Yeah, so on and so forth.
Right.
So yeah, year of learnings, year of dilemmas.
Well said, well summed up. Ms. Meera Iyer, tell me, in this changed reality that we live in, the different ecosystem at work, how can agencies serve brands in the most effective way in your view?
I think everybody is agreed on the fact that a lot of both consumer and customer time, as well as ad spends, have started going the digital way. So one of the things all agencies need to ramp up very quickly is in their ability to tackle digital as a medium, and which is fundamentally different from tackling television, for example. I can very well do with an ad and run it on television for 6 months, but try doing digital, people will possibly think you're mad to be running one creative on digital for 6 months, right? So therefore, digital requires volumes, but at pretty much production costs that will be a fraction of what it will be for a television ad. However, the summation
Right.
of the pieces of digital will anyways also give you the same bill as a large television show would be. So I think from that perspective, agencies should really ramp up in their ability to work with brands on creating memorable digital footprints for the brands, given this accelerated movement to digital, which I predict will also continue in 2021. And there is also a need to very clearly understand what works and what doesn't work in digital. Honestly, for me, the jury is still out in terms of how to really make things work as effectively on digital as you do on mass media. Um,
Right.
there is so much of fatigue in terms of ads thrown at people on digital, and there are enough and more studies that suggest a massive amount of ad blindness in excess of 90% on digital.
Right.
That's the other thing to really come together with and start understanding and putting down some kind of frameworks to make digital ads excel.
Right. Mr. Parashar, what are you telling your agencies? I mean, we heard a lot of stories, not really the horror stories, but really like, getting into the detailing. What are you telling your agencies to serve you better? Are you giving them a tough time? Is it so?
Yeah, I think so. The Subhanto and Rajesh has clearly summed up. So brands are asking more for less, or maximum bang for the buck. That is what is happening. But I think my view of agency is that these are the times when agencies have to guide brands, because most of the brands are taking very short term, myopic view of of the brand, and brands are not for short term. Brands are for eternity, if I can say that, or for longevity, and they have to be honest to the consumer. So these are the things which only agency can guide the brands. Number one. Number two, lot of brands I have seen myself, they have nothing to do with immunity, but suddenly they want to say that this product is good for immunity. So you have to be honest. Only agency can tell the brand, boss, you are going wrong, don't go overboard, people are watching you. You cannot be opportunistic in these times. You have to be empathetic. You have to show that to the consumer that you really care for them. So I think and mostly agencies know the best when it comes to consumer understanding, when it comes to what is that consumer is looking for. People living in brands normally think about their brands 24 hours, but they are the ones who are tracking the different sectors, different consumer expectations. So they are the best one to tell the companies, brands, boss, this is a strategy you should follow. Don't think short term, think long term, because brands are going to last for eternity. I think these are the things which normally any marketer would expect. Of course, apart from performance based marketing, because this is truth. What Sumanta was also saying, conversions, and Rajesh was also highlighting, people are looking for sales and businesses during these times. So I think there's a right balance. You cannot avoid brand building in these times. At the same time, you have to be very performance driven in a very less budget. So that is what the game is all about.
Right. Mr. Shankar Narayanan, so it's a tough time, of course, for both the sides, the brands and the agencies. There needs to be a lot of more hand holding than, what do you call it, putting in a pressure to deliver at low cost. How are you how are you seeing this dynamic, and how are you what can you suggest the agencies to serve the brands better in this situation?
The first thing is we need to acknowledge that I need to work with less and they need to work with less. And why that less has come about is because all of us lost about 6 weeks of sale from March the 24th till about May 4th. So when we lost 6 weeks of sale, it's very, very difficult to make it up in the rest of the year. The very fact that both sides acknowledge that we need to review how we do business, we need to do more with less, will open up a thinking box. Otherwise, all these years, it's always been a question of push either side. Who's right, the agency or the client? Which vision is bigger? How much money you need? Once this is all that I'm going to spend, and this is all that my client is going to give. If I don't ensure that my client does better with less, he is going to find somebody else. So for a year or for 18 months, if we stick together, because ultimately we've taken years to build this relationship. Finding somebody else is easier, but it's going to take another 6 months. So I think the recognition that we need to co-partner with each other, if that comes faster, I think we'll all get solutions faster.
Mr. Samyukta, I have the same question to you. What are your thoughts on this agency brand relationship, and to make it more, kind of cooperative, more effective during these times?
Yeah. So I've just been hearing both sides speak, our agency partners as well as marketers. And I think first of all, as marketers, we have become, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. We have become, and I think it's rightly, because every single rupee is being questioned. So literally we are questioning agency partners also on effectiveness of ads, messages, content. I think Sumanta even mentioned that, suddenly everyone has become, quasi content writers overnight. Everyone is expected to know, all we are expecting agency partners to understand performance marketing. So every word on a banner is being looked at, every square inch of everything has been looked at like never before. And then at the end of all of that, ROI is also questioned because nobody wants to spend. So I think agencies have also been cautioned to kind of watch what they're recommending in terms of spending. There's a lot of questioning on messaging, media choices, production budgets. I think it was very beautifully explained in terms of the whole dilemma of a shoot today is nothing like what we've all seen in the past. So, this whole thing of, while shooting has become so much tougher, it's taking longer. And I think that whole thing was explained very well for everyone to understand. But then the expectation is that they have to do all of that cheaper. So I think there's a lot of pressure on agency partners to kind of, keep up with this whole, flux that marketers and brands are facing right now. So I think I would only say that the only way that they can really help brands and marketers better would be to kind of stay relevant, understand the business needs. Marketers should also be a lot more transparent in terms of, what exactly their expectations are. That frugality with which you have to become media savvy is kind of very dichotomous, but it has to be done. And I think the only way could be that probably they negotiate harder with third-party vendors so that clients could get a bigger bang for their buck. So I think that's where it's all headed.
Right. So there was a point raised, Mr. Chattopadhyay, about agencies guiding brands at times. How much is that happening? Is it happening more than before during these times, wherein brands are also trying to reset their product portfolios, their branding? They're also trying to reimagine it in many ways. So do you think agencies are doing it right now? What is your observation like?
So I think that, we've all in a sense been, I won't lie, it's not like we were so proactive, but we've all been pushed into that role, because I think that the demand of the today's reality and the demand of what marketers need has pushed us into that kind of a role. And so one part of it is that, for example, earlier on in the pandemic, we had brands who said that, we cannot, they actually, they discontinued their contract with us. So we kept on working with them. We kept on advising them on taking the brand forward, once things get a little better. And we did it for our own survival, very frankly speaking. But I think that input that we gave some of our brands for free, in a sense, is something that they really appreciated. And as I said, 3 months of 3 years or more of learning in 3 months. So, today I'll give you an example. We work, Grofers is one of our clients. It's an e-commerce giant. And what is interesting is that they came to us for pure play strategy development to get some of their new initiatives off the ground. So, being a traditional mainline communications agency, we did not actually do the communications for them. We just helped them with the strategy, which is something totally new. We have, we have actually pitched for just the social media accounts of certain big brands. And these are things that, first of all, that we've had to learn ourselves. We've had to bring in those skill sets into our agency. we follow a platform model, and we are part of both Ogilvy and WPP. So in some cases, we've, at the back end, we will have a partner from another WPP company, but, we provide a seamless offering. But, we have today, I mean, Campus Shoes is one of our brands, and Bisleri is one of our brands, and we have created, campaigns for them, which are, based on e-commerce, based on social media, and these are not areas of expertise that we had, but we had to quickly develop it and give it to our clients, and it's been much appreciated. And I think that they have pushed us, for this these kind of things, and we have, as a result, also learned them, and provided these kind of this kind of expertise to them, which
Right.
we ourselves didn't have till some time back.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. So a lot of new things happening on that front. Mr. Ramaswamy, tell me, there's also a lot of in-housing happening where brands are trying to kind of offer those solutions within the organization. What is that trend like? I mean, from an agency perspective, is it giving them the same kind of ROI, what Mr. Chattopadhyay used the word, or do you think this is just a temporary way of dealing with things?
No, I don't think it's a temporary way of. It's a requirement that they have. Like, for instance, for them, they have to keep the buzz alive of the brand, and on a constant basis, they need to keep putting out stuff over there. Not everything is not some great film or one big digital thing. It's a little Insta post over here, something over there, something that a new upgraded model came and they want to talk about it, or they just have to put a post. So there's a lot of in-house requirement that's needed, and it's quite impractical to have another agency and even physically separated by distance every time have one big. So it's high time that they have a department. I think I'm only doing it like that, but at the end of the day, it is like how agencies now have in-house production houses, but it does not mean that they're not going to be dealing out with other production houses. That in-house production house is invented for a reason, for pretty much same reason like why a client is inventing this creative in-house within themselves. But the ecosphere is, I think, all requirement based, and I think everybody will have their place. I don't think it's a threat. It's an evolving thing, and it will always be there.
Right. Mr. Iyer, I want to come to you with so you're getting your marketing campaigns done at a certain rate, which is lower than pre-COVID times, and pretty much effective communication happening. So do you think the spends will stay there now? I mean, where do you see the spends going after this? Because you're pretty much doing the same thing in a certain budget now, what earlier was like, inflated maybe. So how would this rating system work in terms of, the spending of work as we move on, wherein you don't have the pandemic around, but you got the same thing done in a lower price?
Which Iyer do you want to?
It's to you, yes.
Okay. All right. So obviously, it's like this, right? I think it works both ways. When you raise prices, and especially if a lot of these elective surgeries and other consultation charges at various hospitals have gone through the roof right now because of the kind of lull they've had. I don't think they're ever going to take it down again. Similarly, I think for a particular quality, if you've settled down into a particular rate, that will now grow at the rate of inflation rather than go back to what it was pre-COVID, right? Because very rightly, the finance team will be the first one to question you, saying that if you could manage it within this budgets last year, why would you require more? Why can't you basically manage with the same? At the end of the day, you're responsible to and answerable to the shareholders. You're also equally answerable to the board and the others in your organization. So in terms of ad spends, it definitely looks like it won't be as bad as it was in the first half of last year. But first half of last year is not the base. So if you want any kind of baseline, it should be more 2019 than 2020. But does look to be coming back, except for this whole threat of this new strain. And if that threat pans out differently, then there'll obviously be again some kind of disruption. But if not that, then I definitely see people limping back. In fact, in a lot of places, for example, one of the key indicators is our workplaces opening up. And yes, I see a lot of workplaces opening up around me in various cities. And that's a sign really to watch out for. If that starts happening, then you know that things are back to normal. But from a cost perspective, yes, given that there is a history of having managed it with lesser, one would expect that that will continue to hold, and generally question if it's going to go higher than that.
Mr. Parashar, yes, the history of cost lesser and delivering, and how do you see the ad spends panning out as we move on to 2021?
I'm quite optimistic because, as Meera was rightly mentioning, 2020 is not the benchmark. Businesses have to grow. You need more customers. You need to retain your existing clients. Yes, there will be a good cost, bad cost. The brands don't want to waste money on, infrastructures or, those kind of things like, lavish office parties or, investor conferences. But this money, the good cost is that brands will spend more on, automations, digitization, and give how to give a seamless experience to their customers. So I think this is how the trend would be. So it will be more towards digitization for sure. Digital advertising should grow in double digits. That's what I could see. And a lot of people would want to come out of their homes because it has been very boring ever since the pandemic. So I see a little bit of jump in out of home also, but not that great extent. Having said this, I think the media spends will definitely increase for sure because you don't and you will not waste money. So expectations from the agencies will also be there that please don't spend money which is not required. So you have to be cautious, but at the same time, you will experiment, you will come out with stories, you want to reach more people at scale. So definitely I see a good next year. May not be a great jump, but I think double digit digit jump should be there in terms of digital advertising.
I hope it's not double-digit dump from marketeers. That would be like, yes.
Sorry, that was a slip of tongue.
I'm just kidding. Mr. Shankar Narayanan, tell me, we talk about, ads going to digital in a big way. And, of course, I mean, the facts and figures are there. But tell me, tomorrow when it opens up 2021, hopefully the vaccine is around, would you still believe in digital the same way as you do now as a brand?
100%. Your consumption of information, entertainment, everything has shifted digital. Where do you spend? You spend on hoardings, you spend on newspaper, you used to spend on radio. Why? Because people were consuming, people were seeing their eyeballs, ears, mind. So wherever the customer is going, where is what? You will have to be there. So I think digital has made its footprint. It's very strong.
It's here to stay. It's arrived. Okay, great. Mr. Iyer, Samyukta Iyer. So how do you see the spends returning? Will they return now as we all expect, or will now the brands be kind of held accountable that, look, if you got it done in a certain cost, why are you spending more? Do you think that sentiment will also be part of boardroom conversations now?
Yeah, I think Meera mentioned it, that everyone has now learned to question everything a lot more vigorously, relentlessly. Everyone is looking at everything. So that, unfortunately or fortunately, has become the baseline in terms of how work is going to happen. So even if everything were to get back to normal, if there were a scenario when things do get back to normal, I don't think we will unlearn, or advertisers or marketers will unlearn how we've been working right now. I don't think that's going off anywhere. It's here to stay. Everyone has kind of, like, I think Sumanto said that people have actually learned 3 years worth of learning in 3 months, and that has also completely changed the dynamic in which we work. So even if budgets do come back, there's going to be a lot of questioning. There's going to be a lot of expectations in terms of where monies are being spent. And I don't think that trend is going off anywhere. We've just learned something really new, and that's not going to go off.
So, Mr. Chattopadhyay, does that worry the agency side? Because now brands have found an argument, and they say, and I mean, how would the agencies respond in such an environment, according to you, wherein the limited spends are being served as examples of that work can be done? I mean, how would, in your view, if this scenario arises, how are agencies going to adjust to this?
So, you know what, I think it's I mean, as everybody else and Samyukta said, it's a reality, and it's a reality that we have to accept. But I would like to be optimistic, the way Vishwajit said, that I don't think I think it's going to go up a little bit, hopefully, because at times it just become, today I feel that we have to work with suppliers also, and I feel that for every video that we are creating, I'm like pulling a favor. I'm sure Rajesh can relate to this as well. You're pulling a favor because that's not the budget at which you can actually do that thing. So yes, I think that overall there will be this downward trend, and obviously the people who used to charge big bucks are not going to, I mean, they're going to realize that, as whether their directors fees, all of that is going to go down, but there are certain fixed costs, and some of them have gone up. I could completely relate when Rajesh was talking about, all this sanitization and all that. And I want to add something to that, which is that, first of all, I want to say that for me, the brand of the year is clearly Zoom, which we are all on. And I think we're going to be looking, I mean, I'm surprised that we're not seeing some sort of advertising on Zoom already. So I think that is going to become another digital channel in the near future. But I work, for a small agency, full service agency, but we are part of both Ogilvy and the WPP group, and we have to follow certain rules. So we are not, for example, I am not allowed to attend a shoot. So one of the things that I learned was that you can supervise a shoot. Like we have actually done entire shoots where the director is in Bombay, and because the product is only available in Delhi, and Delhi was at that time allowing limited, it was like electronic cycles for Hero is something that we shot a campaign for. And the product was in Delhi. They allowed some sort of an outdoor shoot. So we shot over there. The director was in Bombay. I was in Bombay. We've done shoots in Bangalore. Where the director is there, but I'm so, and what is great about Zoom is that we managed to I managed to, one day there were 2 shoots that fell on the same day, so I was supervising one shoot on one device and the other. So I think these are things that we've learned. And another thing that I want to say is that I remember years ago I'd seen this very clever line on a hoarding, I can't remember for which brand, which was "Geography is now history." So I think that is really that's something that we have all been pushed into today all the time. I mean, I can think of for many, whether it's pitches that we are doing, whether it's for brands that we are working for in certain cities, we put together a bespoke team of people from all the cities, just depending on the skill sets that they have. And it's, half the time, you don't even need to tell the client till, I mean, of course, not to keep it as a secret, but it's not important where you are, it's what you're bringing to the table. So I think that this is the way that we are working. And yes, I mean that your question was specifically about the cost. So yes, we are finding ways to work at lower costs, because we're all working from home. And I don't see, for example, again, because we're part of an international company, I don't see going back to the office for a while now. And I think eventually when we do, there will, we will probably be reducing the amount of office real estate that we have, and that's one of the ways. So we have to find ways of reducing our costs. But what does happen is we've also had to downsize, and there is a point where you can't downsize any further, and I think that is what the marketers have to realize, and the marketers have to convince their CEOs and CFOs that when you want that level of talent and creativity, I mean, it's not even about wanting so many talented people, but even to get that one person to have enough time to spend on your brand, there is a certain amount of money that you need to spend. And I'm hoping that at least we will head to in that direction to an extent. It'll never be what it was before, but it needs to go back a little bit in the higher direction, because otherwise it becomes unsustainable, I feel.
Right. Mr. Ramaswamy, are agencies on a weaker ground in this argument, and or are it just an assumption that we have? How do you see this?
No, I don't think at all that we are on a weaker ground. In fact, a lot of good things have happened. At least what I can notice is that the kind of ways of working and the kind of conversations have changed with the client. It's become far more intimate. It's far more real. So, and I think like mostly what happens between agencies and clients, I mean, through the years, there's fairly everybody is very intelligent. I mean, we're all intelligent people. They are very intelligent people, and we have to just collectively come to an agreement. And so the lot of time and a lot of energy spent in cracking the big idea and things like that. But what happens is people start vacating as it starts reaching the last mile, and that's
Right.
when all the chaos hits. So you might have a great idea, but in the final implementation, it looks like shit. That's because there has been some kind of a miscommunication over there. Now a lot of that is kind of getting contained, where there are
Mhm.
lesser esoteric conversations and more real conversations that people are understanding. It's not like it's not a big deal for an agency to understand what a client is going through by now. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not like we are not those the copywriters of yesteryear who are in their own world, having no clue. Everybody is in the thick of things. They understand our world. We understand their world very clearly. It's just the question of talking and coming to implementable things. So
Right.
the fear is not a lack of budget. The fear is lack of clarity. Nobody has a
Right.
problem of budgets. I mean, we all understand if the budget has been cut. But for a budget to be cut, it like for example, we could have a very simple conversation saying, dude, do we really have to, shoot a product window all over again to show the same thing? Why can't we just repeat a product window? And that's a conversation, which is a last mile conversation. I just have to repeat. If you've got the same product, it's not a new ingredient or no anything. And if you have to, do we every time have to now invest another 1 day of shoot? That could save a lot of cost. But if in the conversation a little bit of time is invested for last mile decisions, I think a lot can be achieved. And I feel that that's the part where clarity
Right.
can bring great I was reading this Insta. There's a page in Insta. So it's what do a group of, what do you call a group of copywriters? ये क्या बकवास brief है? And what do you call a group of clients? यार मजा नहीं आ रहा. So it's become like such a cliche. But yeah, I think they're all just separated by conversations and ways of working. And I think that's kind of changing a lot.
Right. Great. And my final question, we have 5 minutes. I want to come to you, Ms. Meera Iyer. What would be the brand agency dynamic in 2021 after listening to all of those conversations? So what would be it like in your view?
My sense is that a lot of brands I know have decided to forego retainers as a model and work more on project basis, right? Because this allows them to work with agencies when they need to and not have this continuous cash flow going out. So that's something that I definitely see happening in terms of brand agency dynamics. Secondly, I also see more work coming the digital way for all agencies. And if the current set of agencies that have largely been focused on more offline kind of work don't ramp up their capabilities on the digital side, then it will obviously go to the other smaller ones rather than the larger ones that they have a current account with. So those are two things that I see, and of course, agency is always an integral part of all marketing decisions as well as the overall brand journey. That
Right.
relationship, adds tremendous amount of value to the brand over the period of its evolution. So that should continue. That really should continue because that's in the brand's interest, and that really shouldn't change.
Mr. Parashar, your thoughts? Sorry, I think it's on mute.
I would say, there's a lot of uncertainty around, and this is a big opportunity for brands which are already there in the market, because consumer don't want to compromise when it comes to health, hygiene, and various essentials which is purchasing. So brands will have to come out and send their messages to the right consumer at a right cost. So agency and I've already mentioned that this relationship is going to become more real, more performance based, and it's only the agency which can tell us that brands that you have to be relevant in the lives of the consumer. And this notion of we care for you as a customer has gone many notches up in 2020. So we continue with the same trend. And I would say agencies, no marketer wants to cut cost on advertising budgets. But at the same time, I have known in last 2 decades many friends in advertising. Most of the cost is of people in advertising agencies. And
Mhm.
your top end people, takes the maximum cost, and the remaining people who are actually working on brands have not much left to invest in. So I think they have to cut down on those costs, which is not required. But at the same time, we have to understand the agency's perspective, that if you don't want to compromise on the communication, then you have to invest in certain way. Yes, digital is the way forward. So there is a way how you do it. The way you have to do it has changed drastically, and I think the brands will continue to learn from this 2020 and will live with this in 2021.
Great. Mr. Shankaranarayan, what would be those forces at play in 2021 between brands and agencies?
I think you'll have we'll have more discussions where it will definitely be a lot more insightful. I think each one of us will draw from the other person's experience. I don't think we can institutionalize what an agency has done. We've all gone through the cycle. My company has been here for 50 years. We've gone through the cycle. What an agency brings to the table is not going to be available. You can do small jobs, but you can't think from the perspective, because day in and day out, you're thinking about your business and not just about marketing. Whereas what you're actually getting from there is creative talent, where they think only about marketing. So I think
Right.
the agency plays a very large role.
Right. Samyukta, your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a very simple point of view on this. I think from everything that we have also been understanding and listening to our agency partners, I think it has been a lot tougher for them, because the creative industry depends so much on collaboration between a writer and an art director, between servicing and creative, between planning and writing. And I think they've coped very beautifully and defined new ways of working. Earlier meetings used to happen maybe say once a week. Today there's no travel time involved, so nobody's wasting any 2-3 hours getting to the client's office and getting briefed, etc. It literally takes 2 minutes to log on to a Zoom call and even meet daily if required. So I think somebody did say that the relationship has gotten a lot closer, because agencies have also gotten deeply embedded into the client's businesses. So I just have one thought to leave everybody with, saying that if you have an agency partner who's delivering, let's just stick with them. Trust me when I say this, that all of us need our agency partners as much as the agency partners need their clients. So the toughest thing to do right now is to try and build new relationships, and it really takes two to tango. So I think kindness is required in this agency client relationship. Times are tough, so let's just be together and move forward instead of falling apart at this point.
Good, great thoughts, Mr. Chattopadhyay. I mean, so what is going to happen in 2021? You have given one idea that Zoom can have ads, so we have every 1 minute an ad coming up.
So first of all, I mean, I want to thank Samyukta, because what she said is really music to my ears. And I'm a little worried about what Vishwajit said, because he basically said that the people at the top who take, the big salaries should be got rid of. So I'm a bit worried about that. But I think that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I think that, yes, thanks to Zoom, we were, I mean, there's this new term, this new word came about called Blur's Day, because you didn't know which day of the week it was, because 7 days a week you were on Zoom calls with your clients. But I think that because of that, at least with certain clients who see value in you, the relationships have actually become a lot stronger. And I think that, as I said, that we this rapid learning that we've done, and we've become solvers of business problems across it's we might be advising a client, like for example we have ITC Gold Flake, which is such a different category, and we've advised that client on retail dynamics. So there are a lot of things that we never did before, which we've done in the last few months. So I think that those are new skill sets that we've honed, and that's really going to help us. And we have strengthened at least some of our key relationships with the clients who saw the value that we brought to them during these difficult times. So I think that's going to stand us in good stead in 2021. So I'm optimistic that, again, as everybody's saying, this, unless this new strain of COVID sort of completely screws things up, I think that we're going to go into a better 2021 with better relationships between agencies and clients.
Lovely. Mr. Ramaswamy, final words, final thoughts from you on this?
I guess, yeah, man. It's like what everybody is saying. I think it'll be nice if we have closer, intimate, uh, better discussions, and where we all trust each other. It's all like I see it like, okay, if you're all coming together for a beach cleaning drive, so we all sit together and say, okay, man, you take that area, I'll take this area. Who's bringing the garbage bags? Who's clearing this? Who's getting the truck? And everybody just distribute the responsibilities, and then you come together for that cause, and each person then takes on his area of uh, expertise and then moves on. I think that's how. I don't think anybody is going to view this as client, agency, production house, anything. I think it's a crew that's getting assembled, that's there for a cause, and they all understand each other, trust each other. I think the day in a meeting, everybody knows each other personally, down to the junior to the by name and by what he does. I think we've all kind of cracked it.
Lovely. There's a question I would for Mr. Shankar Narayanan. There's a question from Venkateshwaran Bala. E-commerce has been doing extremely well now in COVID times. Has it impacted showroom sales?
E-commerce, there are two things why people go online: convenience and price. If it's convenience, sitting at home and ordering, the alternative is to order on the same retailer's website or WhatsApp shopping. So definitely e-commerce, what I feel e-commerce has done is it has fast-tracked retailers' digitization. WhatsApp
Right.
shopping we never did. Video calls we never did. We never did.
Right.
We never thought we'll get our website up and running so fast this year. So these are benefits that I've done. But yes, e-commerce is going to take relationship level way of doing business, the retail shop floor, a lot more. It can't be just price anymore.
Right. I think we're just out of time, but thank you so much. There were some questions, but hopefully we'll do the next webinar. I think one of the last ones for this year. Few days left, and wishing all of you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us today for this Advertising Club of Madras in association with E4M, the webinar that we brought today. Thank you all of you for your time and joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and Merry
Bye.
Christmas to everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Sumanto.
Merry
Thanks, Suhail.